Who voting over here? Who voting? AFC and KC. Must a terrible job. Who's sleeping shit? What the fuck?
What you on back or something, nigga? I'm talking about who sleep.
No, I'm talking about, huh?
Yeah,
Not right now, man. I've been outside. Come on. Come on. My wife just left.
You been out back like a motherfucker.
Yeah, right. I don't even. Yeah, I was out. Alright. You already know, let it go. You already know. Come on. But next, you can't stop. I ain't even bring it up. Thank you.
Alright, podcast up.
Baby.
We live.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. DC hitter, man. Thank you still around, man. I couldn't find my co-hostess for a while, man. What was going on with that? Where everybody disappeared to?
Well, you know, I don't know, man. Sometimes he thought he was gonna make the playoffs, so they didn't make it. So maybe he just going a little boom, little action this year.
Boom ain't around either, though. He just don't.
Neither one of them really showed up in the playoffs this year. You know, then sometimes they had to take a little break from Madden to recuperate things.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. For real, though. Like, Madden kind of fucked me, though. Like, I was 10-6 too, though. Like, there's no way they shouldn't have sent me to the playoffs, right? Like, I don't get it, though. Like, I mean, that's what happens. You leave it in Madden, and Madden do.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna take nothing away. I just didn't win down the stretch, you know. That's alright though. Shout out to Andy Reid.
Shout out to Andy Reid. At least I ain't played the computer. Man, you know, he got one in the playoffs though and shit like that. But man, we already. We ain't gonna talk about the fact that motherfucker down the stretch, bro. Oh my god, that going down the stretch run is serious, bro. Be honest with you, that schedule was he had a favorable schedule though, bro. Like no way.
Man, there's some dogs in the league, man. You gotta come to play every week. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, when you get down to the get down, you think about it though, man. 9-2. What are 4 straight?
Man, y'all got the battle out, no?
9-2, 4 straight and shit, man. We shouting out our co-hosts, man. We shouting out our co-hosts, Snake Eyes. Now my boy said he on 2-day out of town mission right now. He chilling. He be back a couple days. He ain't ducking.
Nigga, this ran in reverse on
shit.
Not the
boony shit. Not at all. Alright, so let's get to the standings of the regular season and everything that's going on before we get to these wild card weekend games right now. So as you can see, and you look at the AFC, the teams that made it to the playoffs: Jaguars with the first seed, Chiefs got the second seed, Ravens were third, Patriots were fourth, Steelers fifth, Bengals sixth. So we thought this would be a year where the AFC North wouldn't send 3, and they still somehow managed to send 3. We thought the coach would get in this season, lost 3 straight. I mean, they all finished 10-6, but I think down the end, those games lost were big games. Like he had to win that Week 17 game versus the Browns, and he didn't pull it off, man. I think that kept him out of the playoffs. Especially with Circle Bob upsetting Jungle and finishing 11-5. The Ravens did win that division though, right? AFC North. Yep, Ravens won the division. AFC North. South Jaguars won. AFC East Patriots. Shout out to 11-5 over there. AFC West Chiefs won it. NFC side of things, the North. Shout out to McCoy. Vikings won a division 12-4. Closest team to them was 4-12. 3-13, 3-13. That NFC North looking like the new AFC Easy.
Man, yeah.
NFC South, Saints went 12-4, Bucks 10-6, and that 10-6 didn't make the playoffs, which is crazy. If you let my boy Corey tell a story, he gonna say it was some handouts all year long. Force Winds got niggas in the playoffs and shit. And I mean, honestly, same way Force Winds got people in the playoffs, the Force Winds you gave up kept you from the playoffs. That's facts, right, Hitter?
That's facts. Yeah, definitely facts. I think if the Buccaneers play their game, he walks into the playoffs easily.
Walk right into the playoffs easily, easily. So it's funny because
Tragic.
we had another NFC East. I thought we would get two, but the Redskins finished 8-8. Giants 5-11 with a new head coach over there. Eagles 1-15. And Jungle again 15-1 wins that division. NFC West, you had the Cardinals went 14-2, Seahawks 13-3, and the 49ers 11-5. Shout out to Nano making the playoffs for the first time since the old league.
And shout out to Anton coming in and just
comes right in and win the division. So we had a division winner, different division winner over here for the last 3 seasons. So this is gonna be a good division once Deadly get back to playing.
Oh, definitely. Might be a new contender for best league in football.
Yeah, might be the next going into the real draft. Game of
Oh
Thrones.
no, they
Who's
still got
that?
Nano over there though.
Yeah, Nano's still over there. And my boy Nano said he there to stay though.
Oh no.
He excited. He got in the playoffs last night. He was excited. Made the playoffs. Made the offs and shit.
You got it.
All right, so that was
Ooh.
that. We had matchups that we're gonna talk about for the wild card weekend, fellas. But let's get to the sticky shit right now. Let's get to the sticky shit. So here the man from on the NFC side, all the teams over there, all 16 teams on the NFC side. What team you thought played really well throughout the whole year? So a sleeper team, and just a sleeper team, like a team that surprised you that record wise, winning, getting in the playoffs, whatever the case may be. Even if they didn't make the playoffs, is there a team over there that stood out to you?
The Redskins for one. Switching teams and jumping into a new conference and division and finishing 8-8, and he made a few upsets this year. Yeah. Not to take nothing away from him, so that was definitely a surprise. It's good to see Nano back. All jokes aside, 11-5. He's been on a hiatus from the playoffs since season 1. So it's good to see him back.
Right.
He stuck it up in the wild card, but that's just Nano.
Huh? What?
He stumped that game up, but he should have. That was a game he could have won easily.
Yeah. He stunk up the fourth quarter, I should say.
Yeah, the Saints wasn't at his best in that game. We'll get to the stats and all that shit in that game, but I'm looking at McCoy over here. I think right now the NFC North. I don't see nobody contesting him over there in that NFC North at all right now.
Yeah, I thought the Lions would do a lot better. He's been letting me down lately.
Yeah, the Lions don't play his games though. That motherfucker be on every podcast, want all his upgrades, all that shit. Don't play his games though. Lions play his games. Lions wouldn't have that type of record right now, flat out. But yeah, so McCoy, I like. He's in a good situation being in that division. He should win it every season from here on out. He should win that division, man. Winning your division always give you a home game in the playoffs. So I just think, first playoff game he got to play in our league since he's been back. Things are only going to get better. He still got to work on getting that team to fit his scheme and what he want to do. But I think he's in a good situation over there. I also like the Seahawks. I feel like they're back. I think, after he had that disaster season, and then traded everybody away and all that, and started rebuilding that team back up. I think he's back comfortable playing football, and it wasn't explosive football this year, but it was. If you really look at his schedule and his games he played, he got back to managing his offense. It looked like he got back in a rhythm with his offense. Look at the team schedule right now. Like it wasn't like, oh man, I'm putting 60 up on everybody type shit, but he played games where you could tell his system is back. So I think he's comfortable with his system, especially with Isaac Bruce over there helping Metcalf at receiver over there. What other team stood out to me? And Anton. All right, Anton. I can't wait to see what he's going to do on a full season on his belt. I do think Anton got a little bit of help with some forced wins as well. All of them did, actually, with Deadly not playing. But he did win the games that he played. He did win them shit. So I think Anton is over there to make some noise now again. So 2 Live is back, man. They back in the building. Cardinals, outside of the Force wins, he won big in some of these games he played. You know what I'm saying? So and one of the big wins he had was against the Seahawks, 27-14.
I mean, and not even the big wins, close wins. You know, even the close games. He win the close games, and that's where it comes down to winning those close games.
Right, right. And so it looked like he getting that team under wraps right now. It's just good to see Cardinals in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like we haven't really saw a consistent user on the Cardinals team over there, man. So I can't wait to continue to see what the output going to be. Yeah, that's the NFC side of things. And now on the AFC, man, what stood out to you on the AFC side of things?
Let me see. The AFC. Well, let's get to it. The bounce back game from the Jaguars, man. Them just barely getting in with a controversial suspension last season.
Last year, right?
You know, and they snuck into the playoffs to this year, like not dropping a game the whole regular season. They're back.
The schedule was favorable.
Yeah, they had a favorable schedule, but it also comes down to winning those games. You still have to play ball.
Right, and that's why I thought this would be the season where the Texans and the Colts will make a push for the playoffs because of our schedule this year. So I thought they will make another push themselves too. Considering the schedule.
My sleeper goes to the Patriots. You know, again, switching teams, switching divisions, switching conferences, and he came in and he wrecked shop.
Right. I think he can. I mean, man, I don't know. We'll talk about what happened in that playoff game over here, but yeah, that's a situation because I like the Jets and I like the Dolphins when they're playing their games. So I think they got a little three-headed situation over there. And then the Bills, you know, the Bills got to continue to keep developing and getting better. But between the Dolphins, Jets, and the Patriots, I mean, I like the division now. I don't think it's the weakest division anymore. I think the NFC North got that on lock outside of McCoy right now. So so we shall see what's going to happen going down the road, going into real drive, what that division going to look like over there. But man, like what was the biggest letdown? What team let you down the most?
Let's just elephant in the room. The Colts definitely the biggest letdown. You know, me having that same schedule last year, I kind of backed into the playoffs because I knew I was already in 2 weeks and going into the playoffs, and he was fighting for it in week 17. So it was kind of a different situation there.
All right, yeah. So we talked about this last night. Last year, with y'all having that schedule y'all had was a lighter side of a schedule, and you got in the playoffs off of that lighter side of the schedule. And then this year, your schedule was brutal. Do you feel like to me? I think I'm holding you in that conversation as well. I think you went through an identity crisis this year, for real. Like I completely think you went through an identity crisis. And I see what you're trying to do over there, and I think you need to stay with it. It was a person that kind of made that transition too, and I watched him lose playoff games, but then once his team got used to running that system, it became dominant. You got the pieces over there to do it. My question to you: are you gonna stay with it? Especially, I'm talking more defensively than anything.
Yeah. I kind of found my little mode a little late in the season, and you know, it's still a little working pieces. I got to see how this off season goes for me. But I should be back next season.
Right.
You heard it here first.
So we had a situation when we talked about, you know, the Andy Reid versus Freddie Kitchens situation. They've been beefing for the last 3 seasons. Hardcore over there now. So we're gonna stay on these Colts for a little bit. All right. So he comes out week 1, 31-3 versus the Titans. He does what he's supposed to do in that game. He comes out Bills. As you can see when I start naming these teams that he played right away, you see what I'm talking about. 41-10 Bills. Jets is a good player. So over there he lost 19-7. That's his first good player on the schedule. He did beat Onks 42-21. That's another good user over there, playoff team. He did pull that out. So when he pulled that game out, I thought from here, I'm like, all right, he in a good situation. Because once he lost to the Jets, I'm like, uh-oh. That's bad. You got to better win a game that you need to win. Like this was a game you needed to win, but you lost it. But then you bounced back and you did beat the Patriots 42-21. And then you did what you're supposed to do against the Packers. Did what you're supposed to do against the Dolphins. Came out of your bye, and you played 49-28 game to the Jags. Hitter, you watched this game, man. 49-28. This game really didn't tell you if you're just looking at it from the outside. The score right now, this wasn't.
Nah, it was it's a little fourth quarter action there, a little let off, a little foot off the throat type game.
Right, and I think these are teaching points for DC Snake Eyes. At these moments, you done played me a million times. We play twice a year, every year. Sooner or later, you gotta be able to close the gap. You got the team to do it, but now stick wise, and you playing Madden, you have to be able to close the gap here because this was a 42-7 game. After
Going to
in
the
third
fourth
quarter, going into the fourth. 42-7 game. All right, so he comes back. He does beat Seahound 35-17, and then he gets the Texans 38-14. Everything's looking up bright right now. Get the Lions 49-23. Beat the Bears 56-21. This is what you're supposed to see when you got this type of schedule. And then down the stretch, anybody that was a somebody, it didn't look good here. Vikings got him 41-7. Beat Titans 35-12. Then the Texans, this is where it got ugly at. The Texans 63-7, Jaguars 56-3, Browns 27-3. I think those wide margin of losses, the gap between 7-3, he scored 13 points in 3 games and gave up over 100 and something points, bro. That's big. And I think that's what kept him out of the playoffs. When it came down to him getting over the Bengals, I think that point margin right there, losing these games this big, I think that's what kept him out of the playoffs though. But you can't lose these games down the stretch, man. Like you got to find a way to pull one of these games out, bro. All you needed was one of these games to get in.
BCS voters don't like to see those type of margins in their games going into the playoffs.
My thing is, can he build from this? Because
he can definitely build from it.
But you know what I know. Me going 16-0, that changes everything. He's coming into a hard schedule next year.
Yeah, I mean, he still has a second place schedule next year.
Right. And the thing is like, damn, like this is the schedule.
He might have my schedule though, so that might be the downfall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it comes in, but I think I think he's still gonna be alright over here, man. See if he's gonna get in the playoffs. He gotta fight and get in, man. You can't be in the whole league and no playoffs, my boy. You gotta get your ass over there somehow, some way. You gotta get in. Nobody wants to talk offs at all. Hold up, we got our first call, and I knew this was coming. Hold up, wait a minute. Hey man, first caller, what's going on, my boy?
What's going on, Coach?
What's up, Coach? Coach Hitter, he hear you.
What's going on, Pat?
Man, we alright, man. We talking regular season shit before we get to this wild card weekend and divisional round shit. We talking, end of the season, Game of Thrones finale. We talking about some teams that impressed us all year, and some teams that kind of dropped the ball right now. So you kind of called at the right time. We're talking about the coach, your little arch rival, and words being said all the time. So, the Colts, man, the Colts, Snake Eyes.
I don't even know who that is, man. You talking about the ass shooting? I never mentioned that name. The ass shooting, the guy who was 9-2. Finished to the 6 didn't make the playoffs. That guy?
Yeah, that guy, 9-2 guy that didn't make the playoffs. That guy.
I've had a couple weeks back that I will only talk to you, his father, his idol, going forward in regards to him. I'll never respond to him. So I just feel like, and when it comes to the game only, he just believes me. So me mentioning his name or dropping this or that shit like, there's no comparison. You know what I mean? No comparison when it comes to the Madden. But yeah, I mean, had one of the worst easiest schedules in the league. And yeah, we saw what happened when he plays somebody. When he plays somebody. And I think for him, I think he just need to be humble, man. Humble himself. Picking that, poking the bear. It when you can't produce. You know what I'm saying? When you can't produce and hold your own weight. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what happened. So hopefully there's some humble power for him. You know, he really get his own identity. And just really hunker in, man, and you know, focus on what he needs to do to be a better Madden player and be a top 20 player. But right now, with that easy schedule and him choking me like he did, I don't think he's top 25.
You don't think he a top 25 user?
No, the way those games are looking, I mean, you look at 41-7, 63-7, 56-3, 27-3. What's that? That's 20. That's 185 to 20 against top 15 users.
Right. That's a lot of points given up to.
McCoy, yourself, Texans, West, and Knox. I mean, honestly, top 10. That's top 10 players. And you know what I used to tell you was, like, you know, his big thing is Andy Reid, and you know that shit is cute. But I tell people, I say like that type of shit don't bother me, man. Whether I win a Super Bowl or I win 5, honestly, at the end of the day, I just want to be respected.
Right.
And I think I do that. So whether I win or not, you know, but I'll be damned if I lose like that. I'll be damned if niggas just whip my ass. And, you know, when I say I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. I done lost the crack the last 2 years in the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the old league, I lost the Knox twice in the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But both of them users, I didn't beat, and I didn't beat them convincingly as well.
Right.
If I win the Super Bowl this year, his narrative would be, oh, crack wasn't there. So when I say I'm damned, I do a damned or I don't. That's what it is. But that's when you got the tragedy in your back. And you know, people in the past have said, oh, well, you can't bring up the past. But last time I checked, the resume will make you.
Yeah.
They don't make the Hall of Fame off of what they did for one season.
Right.
They make the Hall of Fame off the consistency, the longevity of greatness.
Right.
And I think for me, I think that's where I'm at, man. Like, I'm not winning Super Bowls is cool. It's like, yo, fuck, like, you know, that's what you do. But like I told you, and then I had to catch myself. You know, like when I was responding to him, like, yo, why am I arguing with this dude's ass? Why am I doing it? Like, why are you arguing with this guy's ass? Yo, how come this stick up on you with your eyes closed, with your back up shit? How are you arguing? Why are you even giving him the free?
How you said with his backups in?
Why are you even giving him the credit of responding to him? So I'll never, you know, that's my guy. Outside of man, on the chat, that's my guy. But like in the chat and all that, I'm not replying to him. And I could be whatever you want. I could be dog shit. I could be Beyonce. Whatever you want me to do, it's cool. Cause I don't do it for people that's not good. You know, so I do it for the respect of the people, the top players in the league. You know, I feel like I got everybody or somebody respect me. If I don't, I'm gonna get it. So, you know, I mean, that's why you play the game. But yeah, you know, to him, yeah, man, it's it. And the easy schedule. I mean, the NFC North, right? The NFC East.
AFC East and the NFC North was our schedule this year. If you look at the NFC North, outside of McCoy winning 12 games, everybody else won 3 games, 4 games over there.
Yeah, so I just think when you look at it, you know, when you look at that, I mean, 9-2, and then every time he plays somebody, he lost. Every time he plays somebody that could potentially beat him, he lost. You know, one of the best rosters in the game.
Now let me ask you this: you being in the divisional round right now, and if you don't win a Super Bowl, is definitely, you know, he coming at you. If you win the Super Bowl, you still don't have no space because he's gonna say crack ain't in the league. So you won because crack ain't in the league.
That's the thing. That's why I said for me is like I realized that. So it's like, why am I going back and forth with you? You feel me? I can win the next 3 Super Bowls and you're crack ain't in the league. It don't matter. We could go back to, you know, last year. You know what I mean? And we could speak on your situation. And last year you was the top player in the game, but you didn't win the Super Bowl to what, May?
Nah, 19. Yeah, 19. I ain't win. We talking that June, July shit. That's when I think I got my Super Bowl. Bigger Belly knocked me out of that bitch every year. Right.
One of the top players in the league. Can't nobody say that shit. Like when they know when they line up and play AntHits, it's a game.
It's a ball game.
It's like when you know, you got people that just, you know, don't got the time, man. It's consistency. And, you know, you can't make the playoffs. You can't make the playoffs with that schedule.
Right.
With that schedule, you can't make the playoffs.
Now, our schedule was easy as shit. I mean, you can't go around it because you look at the records of the people we had to play, and they all had losing records except for a couple of them. It wasn't really too many people that didn't have a losing record that we played. So we did have one of them easy schedules. That's why I thought 3 would get in. I thought the Texans would make noise enough to get in 2 over there. I thought Snake would get in 2. How you feel about that loss Boone took last night? Yeah, he went ham.
Carries. I think for Boone, I think he just gotta find a place where he's going to do a lot outside of here. He's gotta find a place where he can get his swag back. But again, I mean, any given advantage, man, ain't shit guaranteed. You feel me? Like ain't shit guaranteed. You know, I hate to bring him up because he's just doing the shit man and shit. But shit in the jungle. How many bitches was he the bride be? Was he the one in the, or was he Sweaty Pounds?
Who, Jungle?
Yeah.
Nah, they can't call him that ever again.
Like, you can't call him that shit down. He was the motherfucker's ass. In every league.
In every league.
How long did it take you to shake that? You feel me? Now
right.
You're changing the narrative, and you can't do that. But I tell you one thing, though, he's always been a top player. Whether he's won or lost.
Always been in the top 5 conversation.
Has validated. You feel me? They validated. So he's always been a top player. So I just say that to say, dude, he just gotta find his swag, find his momentum. He be alright, man. I mean, you know, I seen him with a donut today. That was shocking. I didn't watch the game, but.
Yeah, man, what you guys say about that, man? Motherfucker, come on. Uncle on headset right now, man. 24-0 game, bro. He talking about it. He's, you know, he said he got the jet sweep shit killed him. He kind of gotta be aware of that. He wasn't aware of it today at all. It was a 0-0 game going into halftime, and then they got away from him. A fumble happened, and then the red zone interception happened, and then the momentum just switched, and then he caught him with a jet sweep.
That's one. That's the new league, and then 2, you know, he don't run though. You know, the game I played, he won jet sweep, so I wouldn't have expected. But
yeah.
That's the new league, and you know, like I said, anybody could have bet money on it. They wouldn't have bet. I mean, they might have bet that the Patriots might lose, but not that.
Right.
So when I say the playoffs just stay on 0-0 I had one fumble. Now that just changed the whole momentum and all that. Like, you gotta really understand this game this year is based on that.
It's based on momentum.
Yeah, it's based on that. It's based on, you know, like, not for nothing, every time I play Hitter and rain. Right?
Yeah, Hitter talk about that all the time when y'all play. It's either a rainy or snow game.
Every time we play a rain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then like, you know, and not no excuses, but every time I play crack, and P. God offense got hurt first quarter.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, and I lost the game. I lost those games, but come on, 3 games in a row, 3 playoff games, and every game a key guy get hurt.
Yeah. Football. I think the game got it right though with that. The elements of the weather affect games, injuries, all that stuff affects everything, man. So I definitely agree with that. So why I got you on though, because I want to get to these wild card games and shit. I'm going to the stats, man, and we're gonna talk about awards first. And yearly awards right now. So Lamar Jackson has won his 3rd MVP in a row, man. Are you impressed with that?
Yes and no. Impressed from the standpoint of the Russian. But honestly, he should be a running back that throw the ball.
He need a what?
He need to be a running back to throw the ball.
that he won it, but just the way the game count the stats and all that, I guess, 3 in a row is impressive. But, I mean, if you look at the numbers, 1,900 yards rushing, 20-something touchdowns. But then at the position he plays, is he top 15 in any statistical category?
Right. Let's look at that. That's a good conversation to have. I'm over here on stats right now. All right, so we're going to look at Lamar Jackson as a quarterback. We're going to look at him as a quarterback right now. And I'm just going to go through the NFL stats right now. All right, so when you talk about top 15 passing right now, all right, so Patrick Mahomes is 1, Chris Leak 2, rookie D Rose 3, Chase Ward 4, Computer Love. I don't count guys that didn't play their games. So Hunter Winslow for the Dolphins is up there, but he didn't play his games. So that's not counting him at 5. But Jalen McCain for the Seahawks, that's 5. David Bannon for the Rams didn't play his games this year. Tyree Jackson didn't play his games this year. Elijah Crocker didn't play his games this year. Deshaun Watson barely played. Randall Cunningham barely played. Warren Moon did play. So now that was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys we skipped right there. So let's go back to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we done skipped 6 and got the Warren Moon. So Warren Moon at 7. Daniel Kingsbury for the Redskins at 8. Herb Tyler for the Browns at 9. Malik Zaire, Mike's quarterback, is at 10. Baker Mayfield is at 11. Kyler Murray at 12. Paul Henry at 13. Tom Cruise barely played. Josh Traynor didn't play. Kyrie Bolton is at 14. And Blaine Cartwright for the Vikings is at 15. Then you got Montana, Haskins, and then Lamar Jackson with 2,861 passing yards. So his MVP, he did throw 31 touchdowns versus 15 picks. So his MVP run did come with his rushing yards, period, because he's finished 3rd in the league in rushing with 1959, 18 rushing touchdowns. And it's been like that for the last 3 MVP races. And the award usually go to running backs. If you have a 2,000-yard back with 20 plus touchdowns or more, he has a more chance to win the MVP than a quarterback. So Lamar Jackson was the tweener. He's been a tweener since we started this league. He's been a tweener, 1,000-yard back, 2,000 to 3,000-yard quarterback right now.
So the thing is and that's impressive. They almost have 2,000 yards rushing. But this is why I say I'm not impressed with it. Because when he needs to call on that, I mean, what was the stats of the game he lost?
All right, so in the game he lost, he didn't rush the ball well. He had 3.8 yards a carry in that game. So I'm gonna get to it right now. So the playoff schedule, let's get to it. Playoff weekend. Let's go back to the wild card game. Ravens stats. Here we go. All right, so Lamar Jackson had 115.2 QB rate and 238 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, sacked twice. Longest pass was 75 yards. He got Hollywood involved 1 time in that game. He had 14 carries for 53 yards, 3.8 yards to carry, 1 rushing touchdown, 1 fumble. And again, Hollywood Brown had 3 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown, so he caught 3 catches for 90 yards. Outside of that, Mark Andrews 4 catches for 111 yards. So that was his stats in that playoff game. Versus what he's been doing with him overall. So I just think you get into that playoff game. Lamar wasn't spectacular like you needed him to be, and there's no numbers for nobody else. I don't see numbers anywhere. Like, if you really think about it, Justice Hill, 5 carries, 33 yards, 6.6 yards, and he had a touchdown. That's it. Other than that, was Lamar Jackson running the ball. Then you get to the receivers. Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown had a total of 7 catches together for 200 yards and a touchdown. Anquan Bolden, 2 catches, and that was it. Nobody else touched the ball. Justice Hill had 1 catch. Really, nobody touched the ball there. So when you playing a guy that's rushing for 300 and something yards with a running back right now, that puts a lot of pressure on you right there. 29 carries, 314, 4 rushing touchdowns. Your defense had to win that game because your 2 players virtually got shut down, if you really think about it. They pretty much got shut that game, so that's where that gap, 28, whatever it was, 28-42 or whatever the score was, but that's where that gap came from. But again, Lamar Jackson won his 3rd MVP. I'm impressed that he won 3 in a row. Has he won a playoff game at all this year? I don't think he. I think he's. Oh, I think he's 0 forever in the playoffs right now. I don't think he won one playoff game yet. Nah, he ain't win none because he lost to me in a wild card in a divisional round. And 1 year he had to bye. I beat him in the divisional round. I beat him in a wild card. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. I think he beat the Dolphins. I think he had one. I think he like 1 for like 7 right now. 1 for 8, some shit like that. Yeah. So my thing is that his style of play is it working? I mean, you're losing playoff games. The stats look good every year, but then you really not going no further than just those stats right now. When you get back to the yearly awards, we talked about the AFC. You know, again, Lamar Jackson was Offensive Player of the Year, and the NFC, Roger Craig won that. You go back to the Defensive Player of the Year, Peter Boulware for the Jaguars won that. NFC, you had Ray Barner, the rookie outside linebacker, won that. Offensive Rookie of the Year. NFC, quarterback D Rose. I'm impressed with what Jungle did with this quarterback this year, bro. A 67 overall quarterback, man. He turned and got him playing in the divisional round. Again, he's done this the first year when he had Till. He's done the same thing. Took a rookie quarterback to the Super Bowl. I think he on that same path again. Defensive Rookie of the Year, again, Ray Barner from the Seahawks. AFC Defensive Rookie of the Year, Artie Campbell for the Colts. Best quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. That's like his 3rd in a row, 4th in a row. In the NFC, we got Chris Leak. I was impressed with that. Now, you played him, Chris Leak, with that 77 quarterback completion, man. Like, are you impressed with that, or is it the style of play?
Style of play. I think he knows a lot of jet sweeps, jet passes, whatever, and RPOs. It wasn't anything flashy that I saw that was like jumped out like explosive, really short passing game. Let the receivers do a lot more. And again, that's when he plays. So I don't.
Arian Foster Jr. won the best running back in the AFC, and Roger Craig won it in the NFC. Wide receiver Calvin Johnson won the AFC. NFC, I think we have Jaquez Green for the Saints. Best O-line, Martin. Defensive line, Roy Mathis from last year, Seahawks, #1. AFC, best defensive line, Simeon Rice Jr. Now let's stop and talk about that right there, because the conversation with this, let's kill this noise right now. Both your defensive ends had 23.5 sacks this season. You want to kill the noise on you can't do that to a user. Your sacks coming off of.
What I would say to anybody that believes that new shit, just go look at the games. The games are there for public record. Go look at the stats against user games that I played people. So go look at the game when I played the Steelers. Go look at the game when I played the Broncos, Chargers. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no shit computer love and all that. Like, I've had 3 computer games this year. I've had 3 computer games last year.
Right.
Like, I mean, you know, I can't help it if I'm an active player and people don't want to play me. Also, this year I had people player sim game, and I had a force one.
Right. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't, like, people that's playing or not playing. When you play your games, bro, and you wanna build your players and do certain shit, you can't afford to be getting 50 forced wins and shit. Like, that's why I allow people to play the computer, man. Don't stop your momentum there, because if Big Avelli played the computer and put up big numbers, you've seen him do it to users. If Jungle played the computer and put up big numbers, you've seen him do it to users. If you do it, I do it. It's some guys that can't even play. I mean, it's plenty of guys that I put the team that they're supposed to play on auto, and then 3 tries later they tell me to just give them the forced win. So let's not make it seem like the computer niggas is not, because some guys can't even beat the computer on some real shit this year.
The computer is tougher than some of the opponents I don't play.
Right.
I'm just being factual. Like, the computer is tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, like I said, I learned I gotta just cut out the noise with people that, you know, ask people want to say what they need a story. So they need deflection. They need something. not respond to it, not give him credence and credibility. And I was giving the ass user, otherwise known as the coach, credibility, man. Like, niggas probably looking like, who this fuck arguing with?
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Oh, this fuck going back and forth, fuck paying attention. So it's like, nah, I ain't doing that no more, man. He would never get a reply from me, an act from me. Ever, if he asks, man, I could be Andy Reid, I could be, you know, like, for him to mention what another man did as his argument. You know what I'm saying? What
Right.
have you done?
Right.
You know, when we year 5, we didn't make the playoffs yet.
Year 5, no offs. Offs? We talking about the offs? Playoffs?
Listen to the standard, though. So it's year 5, and he ain't make the playoffs yet. It's year 5, and I ain't won the Super Bowl yet. Ain't that a crazy gap? It's just the expectation.
And the expectations, yeah, and the argument. Well, I mean, it's fun though. It's fun for the league.
It's fun, but listen, he wasn't just saying this recently. He was saying this before I lost to the Dolphins.
Right.
So look at that. Year 1 and year 2 of the league, right? Well, the first year, season 2. He been calling me Andy. Just think about that. So I mean, the second season or the first season, the expectation was, oh, you ain't win, you Andy. Can't win the big. That's the first year.
Right.
So come on, it's no contest, there's no competition. Just think about that. So you know, I mean, it is what it is. But you know, like I said, I can win the Super Bowl this year. I can go 19-0, whatever it is. And if I win it,
well, you're in the divisional round right now. And at the end of the day, you still about to see the same team. It ain't the same coach, but the Steelers has been the Chiefs killers for the last 3 seasons in the playoffs. You're in the divisional round right now against the Steelers. New coach, shout out to Circle Bob, coming off a 24-0 playoff win. How you feel about this game, man? You feel like, you know, like how do you feel?
It's a very, very, very dangerous game. I mean, all replays, you know, replays of regular season.
Right.
So you know, for sure now he know what he's getting into when he's the Chiefs, and he's gonna play accordingly. But yeah, I mean, there's always, you know, like any given event, coming off a big win, we're rested up, we're rested. So you gotta see how the guys respond, man. Like, I mean, we gonna see, you know, but I think we're ready for the challenge this year. You know, I think it's a great game. That's how you guys.
I mean, there's some good matchups right now in this divisional rounds. You got the Bengals versus Jaguars. I'm gonna give you I want your predictions of these games and shit outside of your own game, coming into the playoffs. So right now you got the Bengals traveling into Jacksonville right now. Who you got in that game?
I'm gonna be honest with you with that game. I get it is to the Jags, but with a caveat. The caveat is if the Bengals can control the clock and force the Jags to press, they got a shot. Bengals is just a dangerous unit. You know, hit stick and you know stay in cover 3 Disney the whole game. Make you want to do shot plays against it. Bengals is a dangerous unit.
Right.
So I think the Jags has the edge with this experience, but you know. It could go the other way if they control that clock.
Yeah, I feel the same way. This is a scary game for me, man. But we gonna come in locked in though, man. But this is a good game, and I'll tell you one thing: I would never sleep on the Bengals, bro. He got that, we call it that young boy user game where he do all the little shit. He gonna hit stick you all game long, cause turnovers. He gonna stay consistent and running what he run, and he ain't gonna get away from it. He gonna play you like he just hopped online and playing an online game completely. So you gotta like lock in a whole different way when you playing him. So then the next game in the NFC, the big game is the Seahawks Cowboys, man. Now this is a matchup to me. I think this is a big matchup for Bigavelli right now. I think there's more pressure on Bigavelli than it is on Jungle. How you feel about this game?
I just think some of the two games, some of the two this, people got your number, and I just think this Bengals only got Bigavelli number. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's playing style. I don't know if he just play a lot. Because you know he boys. But I don't see. I mean, unless Bill really come out there and just get a lot of turnovers because I'm gonna try to earn. I think the Cowboys pull it out. You know, they'll be tight early. But things went away in the fourth. The Cowboys to pull it.
Now I like the Cowboys in this game, but here's what I'm gonna say. He coming into it, and his major weapons is a 1 year running back, a rookie receiver, and a rookie quarterback. Now, because of who the user is with that I call it that handicap coming in with rookies, because the rookies is going to play like rookies at times in the playoffs. I still think Jungle's good enough to be able to manage that. But I think Bigavelli defensively has the team to be able to frustrate that quarterback. So I think if Jungle can't get the run game going and he has to rely on that rookie quarterback to make plays for him all game long, I see the Seahawks being able to upset him here. This is a hard game for me though, but I'm going with the Seahawks in this game, and it's gonna be a close game. The next game you can't call it. Steelers Chiefs. We already talked to you about playing the Steelers. I still think that you got the prestige of the Steelers coming in into your building. Outside of something going wrong, like not wishing bad luck or something like an injury or something like that. Anything that'll remind you of the games you've played in the Steelers game, I really don't see this guy beating you. I think it can be a little fill out game. Y'all played each other already, but I can see fill out game like early first quarter, and then the lock in comes in, man. So this is big, but this could be a big upset for Circle Bob if he could pull it off. But I really don't see it. Yeah, and the last game though, the Saints Cardinals game. Now that's Anton versus Gator fan, bro. And here's the thing: I don't think they played each other at all. They don't know each other. They haven't played each other in my eyes. This is a tricky game for me too, right here to pick. Anton's coming off a team that was built that he has to still put together himself. And then the Saints is kind of hitting on all strides right now. Watching that wild card game, he didn't play his best game, but he was a better football coach than the person he played, which won him that game. But he really didn't dominate the 49ers at all. I think the 49ers lost that game versus Gators actually winning it. But this game's huge though, man. Saints Cardinals, who you got?
This one tough for me.
Right.
Tough game.
It's a tough game, man. Like, look, I'm gonna say, you know what? Gator fan has been around for a while with us right now, but we know who Anton is. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say Gator fan gonna win this game. I think I don't know, bro. I don't even know. Like, I think it's gonna be a big win here. I would like to see Anton pull it off. It'd be great him coming back and winning the playoff game. But I think Saints gonna win this game, bro. 10 points. I definitely still. What you think, Hitter?
I actually picked the Cardinals to win, but the league has it 7-5 Saints right now.
League have Saints winning 7-5. What the league got with the Steelers Chiefs game?
The Steelers, the league has it 9-4 right now. Chiefs.
All right, Seahawks Cowboys. What the league got?
They have it 10-3 Cowboys.
And Bengals Jags.
They have the Jaguars 11-3.
11-3. All right, so that's the league speaking on that right now, man. Let's get back to some of these games right here. Hitter, this conversation is for you. Hey, man, Falk, man, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you calling in, my boy. What time you getting?
Man, I'm at the gig, man. Y'all take care out there, man. And, to the playoff teams, good luck. And to the people that's trying to make the playoffs, keep working.
Keep hitting that work in, man. All right, my boy. I'll see you when you get home, bro.
Okay.
All right. So hit it, man. Let's get back to these wild card games, man. Bengals Ravens game, man. Let's talk about it. What the fuck happened in this game over here, man? Like, I mean, we had
it looked like the Bengals came out and they jumped on the Ravens early and just basically held the game down the rest of the way.
Man, like we talked about it when we was talking about Lamar Jackson's MVP race. I just think the Ravens don't get enough people involved on offense. He got weapons over there, but it comes down to three players on offense, and that's Lamar Jackson, the tight end, and Hollywood Brown.
It's kind of like it's kind of like the Broncos formula, you know, when something's always working for you, you kind of get used to it working, and then when it doesn't, you just really don't know what to do from there. You know, I have the same situation in Denver when
Shit. I think this, though. I'm going to be honest with you. Boone too good of a user not to be able to get anybody else involved. I watched him play Knox and lost Lamar Jackson and got his other players involved. This is the playoff game, man. You can't come into this game and not get everybody involved right now. Because if you look at this right now, let's start at the first quarter. Cincinnati went up 7-0. 489 yards total game versus 300. Rushing yards, 352. Spencer went the hell off versus 86. In the passing game, 137. We don't expect the Bengals to throw the ball all over the park, but Lamar Jackson did throw for 214 yards in that game. It was 12 first downs got for the Cincinnati Bengals, 6 on offense for the Ravens. You get down to turnovers, Boone had 3 versus 1. Total yards gained 584 total yards to 369. Red zone from 100% to 50%, 2 red zone touchdowns versus 1. And time of possession, the Bengals dominated that with 16:49 to 11:11. Like I said, in the stat-wise game, man, Lamar Jackson did throw for 238 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs, sacked twice. Rookie Aaron Rodgers threw a touchdown in the pick this game. You get to the rushing game, 29 carries for 314 yards, 10.8 yards a carry, 4 touchdowns. James Spencer dominated this game, definitely was the MVP, went ham in this game, held that shit down. Lamar Jackson got shut with a 3.8 yard average per play, 1 fumble, 1 rushing touchdown. And in the receiving game, we call this a shutdown. Marquise Hollywood Brown, 3 catches, 90 yards. Caught 1 bomb. That's how we're going to look at this. Mark Andrews did hold it down with 4 catches, 111 yards, no cheats. James Spencer went off. 2 catches, 118. Them wheel routes was working like a motherfucker. 1 touchdown. Defensively, man, 16 tackles from a cornerback. That means you had to stop the run all game long, and your safety had 10. Simple as that. Getting to the quarterback, Carl Lawson dominated that stat with 2 INTs right now. Darrell Reeves had 1. It didn't help him. Kendall Fuller, old man, playing with 1 pick, and Witherspoon with the other pick. That was that game. That was how that went. Bengals 41-28. 49ers Saints game. Hitter, what's going on over here, man? I watched this whole game,
bro. The biggest choke in the playoffs so far.
You think so?
I think so. You go into halftime up 14-3, and then you basically laid an egg from there.
Right, and I mean, you look at the whole situation right now. I told you the Saints didn't play a good game, in my opinion. 173 total yards game for the 49ers to be up 14-3 at halftime. 234.
14-10. I'm sorry, 14-10. Yeah.
And he was up 14-3 and gave up a last-second touchdown. Like he scored on like 27 seconds left or something like that. 113 yards rushing for 90. I thought Roger Craig should have kept getting the football. He decided he wanted to throw to Trey Money. Trey Money is not what he really think he is right now because he wasn't ready. He couldn't make the big catches when he really needed him to. Offensive passing yards 60 to 144. First down, Saints had 9 to 4. Total yards gained 326. Saints ended up dominating that, and that was the second half, 173. Turnovers 2 to 1. Right there, you get down to time of possession. Saints had the ball for 18 minutes and 15 seconds. So that means the 49ers whole second half was 3 and out. Punt, 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 punt. Simple as that. In the passing game, Chris Leak 71.4%. 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Montana 104 yards, INT. Rushing game though, Roger Craig 12 carries. That's why I said you're supposed to keep giving this guy the ball. He should have touched the ball 30 times in the run game, especially up 14-10. 12 carries, 113, 9.4 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. Beckwith didn't have an outstanding day on the ground, but he did enough. 16 for 83, 5.2 yards a carry, 1 touchdown. Emmitt Smith Jr. had a touchdown in this game. Receiving wise, Jaquez Green been a stud all year long. 4 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown. Trey Money 2 catches, 79 yards. He was shut. Get down to the defensive side of things. 49ers did get to the quarterback, but Javon Curse had 2. Ty Summers with 1, Winovich had 1, Davenport had 1, Bosa had 1, Gruger had 1, Josh Allen had 1. So the Saints won in that department. And then INT wise, we got Quentin Williams, the linebacker, with 1. Ray Worthington, 1, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson had 1. That was that game. Let's get to the next game. Hitter, man, what's going on in the Steelers Patriots game, bro?
Like the Patriots coach spoke on earlier. You know, he just saw a look that he wasn't prepared for, and it kind of bit him in the ass late in the game.
That's not crossing your T's and dotting your I's at the end of the day. You know the league is transforming into that. It's been heavy. You've been seeing it. You just got finished playing the band. Right. You got the fucking coach that gave you that look all season long. We done talked about it for 8 weeks. Right. So 24-0, man. It really doesn't look like that.
Donut.
0-0 at halftime.
I deserve to be donut.
And you hear from the man himself.
I deserve to be donut because I fell for that bullshit. I could have
Say
stopped the donut.
Say it
You got me
again.
on the 1 yard line, but some people cherish that shit. But I deserve to be donut for falling for that bullshit.
And then you come into it, man. Turnover killed you. 2 turnovers in the second half. That really turned the game around.
Bullshit. It was just adjustment on his part. That he came out trying to pass it, me playing aggressive. He just hit me with that shit. I should have been more aware of that shit.
Right.
Sometimes you deserve to be donut or just beat, period. I could have stopped the donut. I ain't too worried about it. That's why I didn't even go for the field goal. Some people cherish that.
Nah, because you grabbed your nuts at the end of the day.
Yeah,
grab your
man,
nuts. And nobody got time to be kicking field goals for a feeling. Right.
I done played like ass, like super. You done talk this shit. Now you done got donut. I'm pissed off. The reverses. The damn screen, you know what I'm saying? I just ain't play football. I didn't pass. I didn't run the ball.
I mean,
he did what he had to do. I just ain't run the ball. It's something that I don't, you know what I mean? I don't do very well at run the ball. I don't pay attention to the run game like that. I'd rather pass the ball, and it bit me in the ass not playing football.
Right.
Because the further you go in these playoffs,
you gotta play football, man. You gotta run the. You gotta play football, man. So you get out of character.
I'm in the third quarter. My running back got 3 carries for 7 yards. What the fuck?
Right.
Is this the first?
Right. And with your defense, honestly, a run game would have been real well for you. I think that changed the outcome of that right there. You get into the stats of the things right now. So Paul Henry did have 104.1 QB rate, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. That's the quarterback over there. He was sacked twice. Haskins, 29.8 rate and 90 yards passing, 2 INTs. Haskins had a bad game. But we know it's a new quarterback coming over there anyway. Willie Parker, 12 carries, 71 yards, no touchdowns. Bryce Love did have 9 for 61. Looked like he wanted to get things going. Herschel Walker, 16 for 36, 2.3, and a fumble. That's where it killed you at. But here's the jet sweep. Hines Ward, 1 carry for 27 yards. Yeah, that's where it counts at. And Willie Parker on a jet sweep pass. 1 reception for 81 yards to the crib. Hines Ward, 259 to the crib. That's the game right there. Other than that, it was all field goals. Defensively, you had sacks right now. Came from Zuko, Willis McGinney, Zuko, Harrison, and TJ Watt all got to the quarterback. 1 INT. That 1 INT came from. Game. Well, yeah. I mean, it was a good game up until halftime. A couple of plays.
He made the adjustment. I should have seen it, but I didn't. And then it was so obvious because he put Willie Parker in the slot. Because I was on chat. I didn't see it until the end. I didn't even notice. I'm too tied up into doing other things. Yeah, I got him. You real confident. Don't see. He making adjustments too. Plus, when he paused, I should have knew. But this basically not playing football get you beat.
Pretty much. And I respect what you're saying right now.
Especially in this league, most motherfuckers
you standing behind it. Exactly. That's what I was just going to say. You standing behind that shit.
Man, fuck that shit. Yeah, he just did what he had to do. I'm in a tight ass game. I couldn't accept that because I'm in a tight ass game. I'm thinking I got him beat, and then he pulls that out. Then I fumble.
Right.
Man, fuck this shit.
Then he pull it out again, and then you throw a pick.
Yeah.
So that's the game right there. Yep.
Yeah, like fuck. Ain't nothing you could do after that. But just, you know what I mean? Just say fuck it. After that, I just ain't play football. If I was playing football, like you said, none of it would have. I should have run. But see, running the ball ain't my thing. Most people can come out and run the ball 30 times. I can't.
But you got the runners. I watched you run against me. You got the runner. You could do it. You definitely got the runners to do that shit.
If I'm locked in, I'm locked in. But you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't really locked in on this shit. I don't know what the fuck. It just pissed me off. I was locked in more defensively. I was on offense. I ain't got to do shit. I'm waiting for him to make the mistake.
Right. And that's Patriot football, right? Especially with your defense, you always play that way. Allow your opponent to make the mistakes, and you just control the ball. Take your shot plays when they there, when they playing aggressive and all that shit.
Yeah,
they ain't there to run the ball.
On my defense.
Right.
But when somebody can come out and think better than you can at that particular moment and say, look, I'm hitting with this, boom, boom, touchdown, shit.
Hey,
now,
man.
I ain't gonna run this. I ain't gonna run the same play. I'm gonna come back and hit you with the screen. Boom. What the motherfucker?
Anybody that's listening, this is real football conversation right now, man. What he's saying he got pretty much he outcoached me at the right moment. Simple as that.
All dial-ups.
All dial-ups at the right moment.
Like,
all dial-ups.
See, I can respect that somebody that's come out and is running this shit 60 times a game.
Right.
If he gonna use that to move the ball, I can't complain about that shit. He's right time, right situation. He moved it, he hit it. And I was like, fuck, see, I complain about that shit, but it's part of the game. But he didn't abuse it. He used it twice. Boom, boom. He got up because he knew if he got up the way the kind of football we was playing, it was hard to score.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, much respect to Circum Bob. You know what I mean? You coached, you had a hell of a coaching game in the playoffs. As simple as that. Hitter, Seahawks, Vikings, man. You said this was a good game, man. 16-6, man. McCoy in his first Game of Thrones playoff right now. What happened in this game?
Just another fourth quarter debacle.
Field goal game. 3 field goals. Three field goals kicked all the way up to the third quarter, and then it looked like the Seahawks struck gold 13 points in the fourth quarter. What happened in this game? 131 yards from Jalen McCain, the number 4 passing quarterback in the league right now. He did throw 2 picks, 1 touchdown, was sacked twice. Cartwright had a bad outing with ratings 25.9, 57 yards and a INT. Running the ball though, Joe Mixon came in the building with 20 carries, 58 yards. I don't know what happened to what's his name, Zeke over here, but it don't look like Zeke played at all. 7 rushings for Keenan Clemens for 28 yards, 4 yards.
Oh, he did. He had 4 carries for -5 yards.
Oh, Zeke got shut this game. That's what that was.
He got shut, yeah.
It's crazy because neither one of them did anything in the run game right now. This was a good defensive game. Metcalf did do what he does, caught a bomb somewhere along the line, or he took a jet sweep or something. He did something. 298, 49-yard catch, 1 touchdown. Simple as that. Sanborn 2 for 40, Chamberlain's 1 for 20. Richard Carter, the tight end, had 2 for 20. All right, so it was really 1 touchdown was scored in this game, all field goals. So let's just go right to where it was at. Defense. Pepper Johnson had 8 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and a sack. Let's see who else got to the quarterback over here.
Boy Mathis had a sack.
And then Bruce Weathers got to the quarterback, and he had half a sack from Hunter and Butler. INT-wise, you had 2 from Demarius Peterson. It's a good corner over here, man. And then Reggie Salas, the top 10 pick a couple drafts ago, had an INT right now. So this is a defensive game. Again, that's how it went. Seahawks pulled it off 16-6. Good games in the wild card round. We are going to the divisional round. Let's see some of these games get knocked out. Let's go. This AntHits the franchise guru with Hitter the Spitter and our special guest, man, my boy Onk Riley. Y'all gonna get hit with that Riley next year. Just know that. Holla at us when you holla at us.